and let's check in with Ahmad. Ahmad.
All right, Greg, coming off that soundbite, it reminded me, we talked about that this morning. He said, you know what, I'm going to try to get the offense involved and see who's going to step up.
And now Hardaway.
Exactly what Phil Jackson did not want.
There's the whistle before the shot. An illegal defense call against the Bulls.
Well, Dennis Rodman has had some success with playing Shaq. Even though Dennis only weighs about 218 pounds, he has a strong low base, able to push Shaq a little bit further out than he wants. No double team came there. If the double is going to come, it's going to come from the strong side of the floor, from the passer that enters into Shaq.
Mostly what Dennis Rodman has is a strong will. Put his body on the line against Shaq.
Three-pointer, no good. Coach with the rebound. Rodman just took a pretty good elbow in the mouth from Shaquille O'Neal. The Bulls with a 14-4 edge on the boards.
That just gets you going, Greg. A guy like Dennis Rodman looks forward to that. Terrific defense by Penny once again.
Hardaway with the steal on Jordan.
You can see how quickly the Chicago defenders come up on Dennis Scott in transition. They do not want to give him any kind of look at a three.
Hardaway on Pippen.
Like Chicago's fronting strategy defensively in the post.
Jordan comes away with it. And foul by Nick Anderson, who wants an offensive foul. Let's go back to the other end of Dennis Rodman and the problems you have dealing with Shaquille O'Neal.
Shaq is 7'2", Dennis about 6'6", 6'7". That elbow just comes right up. Chest tight. Critical edge for Chicago in this series. Guys who can play basketball off the bench, fill it up with their own game, hit jumpers.
Report from the sideline is that Penny Hardaway cut his leg. He is on the sideline now, but he is all right. O'Neal shot, no.
Shots for guys who can't shoot, like Bushler and Kerr.
Horace Grant not looking for a shot, almost threw it away. And there's a foul call as Shaquille went into his move.
Horace can't create his own shot. Horace is a guy, Dennis Rodman is going to push and lean. Dennis was telling him yesterday, he'll do whatever it takes. He'll put his life on the line in guarding Shaquille O'Neal. Should bring the ball up the court. Brian Hill calling for the post play.
55 seconds for the first half. The lob for Shaquille. And Rodman catches him on the way down.
Luke Longley, a key center for Chicago. They want to save those fouls for late in the game, and that's when they want to put Shaq on the line. You don't want to waste him there.
Hardaway lost the handle on his way to the hoop. 10 and looking to cut it down to single digits. Shaq calling for the ball. Rodman on him. Anderson for three.
But again, Greg, attack Shaq. That opens up the glass for Rodman, for Pippen, for Harper, for anybody.
Back down to Shaq. Hardaway for three.
You have to work the referees. You have to create in their mind the fact that Shaq is going to lower that shoulder, get to the hoop. He's going to take steps. But the defender, they have to stay in there and take that punishment. Akeem was willing to do it last year and got him a championship. The Bulls have done it so far in the first half of game one.
Nobody's got a body on him yet. 11 points, 16 rebounds for Dennis Rodman. 65-54 Bulls. Rodman now goes to work on the defense against O'Neal. His jump shot is good.
Pressure on him defensively with Nick Anderson not hitting his shots. Nobody from Orlando hitting from outside upper paint.
Taken away from behind. Harper.
Forced to put the ball on the floor. Jumped in the air. Turnover. Layup.
O'Neal. Rodman may have gotten a hand on it.
Kukoc had a bad back, unable to play in the last 3 games in the New York series. He looks fresh.
His medication seems to be working just fine.
Shaq lost it. Dennis Rodman all over.
Brian Hill looks like somebody stole his luggage over there.
And Rodman grabs him and says, part of the game.
The way the Magic can get back into this and proceed in the series is start with a little rage here. The hard foul by Rodman, and Shaq has to get mad.
So dominated at the power forward position by Dennis Rodman. And absolutely everything we talked about in the opening that Horace needed to do. Hit the jumpers, control Dennis Rodman's emotional contribution, make something happen on the defensive end. That's embarrassing, those rebounding numbers.
Rodman has as many rebounds as the Magic do as a team.
The crowd starting to taunt Horace Grant here.
And Scottie Pippen already with 3 assists. Now Harper guards Scott. Plays him way out. Rodman on O'Neal. And Shaq gets the basket and draws the foul.
And we see the switch in the matchup right away. Longley with 2 quick fouls. Rodman, who did a great job on Shaq in game 1. But Shaq not very happy with his performance in game 1. Doesn't feel like Dennis is strong enough or weighs enough to defend him in the low post. Has to continue to attack and dominate that low post position.
Playoff games they played thus far, Chicago has forced 20 turnovers per game. Orlando with 2 tonight. O'Neal, no. Anderson. Orlando's done a good job of protecting the ball tonight. Here's O'Neal over Rodman. Offensive board.
2 for 9. There was no question. He's capable of hitting 9 in a row anytime.
Bushler and Kerr get ready to come back on the floor for Chicago. Kukoc with the double team, and he picks up a cheap foul. The basket will count.
Bill Winnington, he is dominating the game so far. But you know what? The great thing about Orlando right now is they have one.
Kukoc for Longley. O'Neal gets it. 5 on the shot clock. Rodman with a jump shot. Rodman is now 5 of 7 from the field. He's got 12 points. Double comes from Pippen and leaves Hardaway open. No.
Right here, Dennis Rodman showing his great acting talents. Gets hit in the face, but then watch the double pump. Flop. Going back. Good defense, though, by Dennis, causing Shaq to catch the ball way outside of the paint. Big character test right now for Orlando. This crowd is going crazy. Michael's got the hot hand. They got to find a way to score some points. It's a big possession.
O'Neal guarded by Rodman. Pippen with the double team, and the foul is called on Bushler, I believe. A 6-point game with 1:50 to go, third quarter. Bushler doubles on O'Neal. Underneath is Hardaway with the cut in the basket. O'Neal out on the perimeter. Now tries to get his position. Rodman comes in front. Makes the steal. Here's Randy Brown, who is fouled by Penny Hardaway.
Randy Brown, he was all over the ball. Pippen gives him a good bump, slows him down going down to the block, but we can't see it there on the screen. But Randy Brown was all over Brian Shaw. Couldn't see Dennis Rodman coming around the weak side.
They're declared for Orlando. A 2-point game, 5:53 to go. Anderson has missed all 5 of his 3-point shots tonight. Takes another.
Down to Shaq. The game's not that hard.
Here's Shaquille. He and Rodman reintroduce themselves to each other.
For a beautiful putback.
Rodman has a playoff high of 14 points to complement his 11 rebounds. The double comes from Kerr, and O'Neal goes over Rodman for 2. Shaw guarded by Kerr. Looks for O'Neal. Traveling. No! Offensive foul on O'Neal.
You know, Dennis Rodman is playing very aggressive defense all over Shaq, pushing him, holding him, grabbing him, doing the playing defense the way he should. Shaq just tries to get Dennis off his arm and gets called for an offensive foul. Dennis has a hold of his arm right there. Shaq's just trying to free up his arm. I don't like that call.
Breaking down court, but the Bulls could not get the ball to him. Bushler. And O'Neal hits the deck, takes Rodman with him. Rodman complaining that he was tripped up by O'Neal. I see a technical foul has been called. Steve Javie with the call against Shaquille.
And Dennis Rodman saying he grabbed my foot and pulled me down. Dennis Rodman did pick up the foul as he was trying to back into Shaquille for the offensive rebound. Knew he was beaten on the play. Dennis knocking it loose, and now here's where he fouled Shaquille. And then Shaquille does grab the right leg in the ankle area of Dennis Rodman, and that's why called for the technical foul.
Hear the reaction from the crowd.
Into the lane.
And Kukoc back, replacing Longley to punch with 6 points. For 3, yes! If there is a dramatic turn, making for a Game 5 will take place in Chicago on Wednesday night. O'Neal. Fouled by Rodman. So Shaquille back to the line where he is 1 for 7.
Now, for one of the rare times after a shot going up, the Chicago Bulls defense falling asleep.
This is the last we're going to see of this particular group as it's constituted. And a foul is called. Rodman hit by O'Neal. I would think there are many questions that can be raised.
Well, I can't see the Orlando Magic making any kind of drastic changes as we see Dennis Rodman getting sandwiched in there, knocked hard to the floor. They do have 2 big signings coming up, one with Shaquille O'Neal. Excuse me, Michael saw the double team coming and quickly spun to the baseline for what has now become his patented fadeaway jump shot.
The Magic 31, Bulls 25. Scott was about to load it up, but an illegal defense call.
Float into the air and shoot over the smaller buoy.
Hardaway had scored the last 9 points for the Orlando Magic. Foul is called as the Royal took the push. Thompson, played by Kerr. Oh, nice fake by O'Neal. And he is fouled. Shaquille has certainly had his way in the first half against Dennis Rodman, who in this series has done a terrific job, not only on the court physically, but you get the idea he has gotten into the head of Shaquille O'Neal. That foul, though, is called on Tony Kukoc.
Well, because there is so little double teaming of Shaq, these defenders have to play him straight up. Well, Steve Kerr actually out-paddled Shaquille O'Neal and knocked that ball loose. He almost got his body knocked hard to the floor.
3-point Magic lead. Here is Thompson for 3. Verbal sniping between Dennis Rodman and Shaquille O'Neal. Rodman has certainly done an effective job defending against Shaquille. We asked Shaq about the matchup.
I think Dennis knows that he can't play me one-on-one. I mean, the rules is one arm, and arm has to be halfway. I mean, he puts 2 hands in the back and a knee in the crotch. He still can't hold me. So, I mean, but this is not a Dennis Rodman Shaq thing. And I'm going to just go out and play my game. And I only speak when I'm spoken to. And I'm going to just go out and play.
Magic by 8. Harper on the penetration. Rodman with the rebound. And a loose ball foul called on the Magic.
Other end of the floor, instead of challenging that shot, Shaquille O'Neal got all tangled up with Dennis Rodman and got called for the elbow in the throat.
Score. O'Neal tried to save it and stepped out. Gets again, a very sincere pat from Dennis Rodman.
Well, Shaq actually took his eye off the ball here and missed it completely, bouncing off his chest and trying to save it and throwing it as hard as he could off Dennis Rodman. I'm sure if he had the opportunity again, he'd throw it even higher if he could. What happened on the play as Jordan trying to escape that double team.
Minute and a half in the first half. Oh, look out. Rodman and O'Neal with a shove on Rodman. Let's see how the officials handle this one. Dennis Rodman in a conversation with several members of the Orlando Magic. This one was brewing right throughout.
Yeah, Dennis has been starting now. He's milling around, got into a little verbal altercation with Brian Hill, and they continue to jaw at one another. As there's been some hard hitting there, the shove by Shaquille O'Neal, and Brian Hill walking out towards Dennis Rodman. Richie Adubato protecting Brian. I don't know how good that's going to be right now, but so this, when you're a teammate of Dennis Rodman or a Chicago fan, this is what you always worry about with Dennis Rodman, the fireworks starting. You just don't know what's going to go off.
Double technical called on Rodman and O'Neal. O'Neal, who was fouled. Line drives the first home. He's 5 of 5 at the line.
Well, Shaq hit him 1, 2, 3 hard times, and Dennis Rodman just trying to grab onto Shaq and maybe instigate a little bit with the grab, and he did what he wanted to do. He got Shaq to react with a push.
By Jordan, second on a traveling violation. Now Thompson played very tightly by Kerr. O'Neal, Thompson. Shot clock at 7. The pass from Hardaway overthrown. And Michael has 35. Here's some pressure. Jordan poked it away, but O'Neal able to hold on. Scott, who was looking for the 3, could not get it off. Scott off the dribble. Rebounded by Rodman. Horace Grant. But I think the main problem, there's no true leader on this ball club.
Well, you have the 2 young players in Shaquille O'Neal and Penny Hardaway.